Greetings! We're going to talk about the CAD Academy instructor resources for engineering. There'll be a separate video on the resources for architecture. I am Stephanie Kwame with the CAD Academy. I've also been an adjunct faculty member at a community college for 24 years in technology. I own a place called the CAD Store. It's been around since 1984, working with commercial customers in technology, and I'm on various educational councils and committees. The instructor resources we have for engineering include the ADDA standard curriculum, and the ADDA is the American Drafting and Design Association. We're going to talk about them in just a little bit and why that would be important to have industry standard curriculum. It includes syllabus, instructor hints, PowerPoints, quizzes, and tests. And we also provide professional development training for instructors, because as an instructor I know how important that is as everything changes so quickly in technology. For our software, we use SolidWorks to produce our projects and parts. And Marie Blanchard has been very, very helpful in relating our curriculum to projects in SolidWorks, and she is with SolidWorks. We appreciate her very much. We have an instructor portal that has quick starts. We also allow student downloads of the software, which comes from our instructor portal, but you need a login. So if you haven't gotten or received an instructor login, you definitely need to contact us so that your students can get access to the software. You do need to have the students' email address so we can email them a password and a link. We also have YouTube training videos now, and we also include extreme engineering video series. If I were doing Engineering 101, I would start by using the PowerPoints, and this is from the PowerPoints. So I would talk about occupations, about engineering, that it's a profession of acquiring and applying scientific, mathematical, economic, social, and practical knowledge. And it's interesting that it's a broad field. A lot of people don't realize that engineering includes structures, machines, devices, systems, materials, and processes. And it's all done to help people. One of the things we just learned about in engineering, that a portion of that would be machines or mechanical. And this is a small portion of engineering called mechanical engineering. And mechanical engineering involves any kind of machines and the manufacture of machines and the manufacturing process. You also will find out and learn about in this program the principles of dynamics, control, thermodynamics, heat transfer, fluid mechanics, strength of materials, material science, electronics, and math, and of course mathematics is in everything, including the CAD software. You can't talk about the history of engineering without including Leonardo da Vinci. He lived around the 1500s, and he's best known for drawing The Last Supper. But he would diagram and make sketches of his ideas and inventions, and he was very interested in the human body and how it worked. He was interested in architecture, and believe it or not, he was almost clairvoyant. He designed airplanes and motor vehicles back in the 1500s. But he didn't dimension anything, and he didn't make anything that would be manufacturable, but he certainly was a genius and came up with some amazing concepts. In the United States, the person that impacted engineering at an early date would be Henry Ford, and this would be early in the 20th century, late 19th century. And he would design and draw on something called blackboards, and in 3D no less. And then he would come up with this sketch and give it to pattern makers, and they would make a wooden model or a full-size model in wood, and that would be the model would be the pattern to make the vehicles, and so it would be all the same size, so the parts became interchangeable. Up to the time of Henry Ford, only rich people could afford cars. But he saw that the average person could use a car as well, so then he is to be thanked for all those cars out on the road right now. But they were called horseless carriages because not long before that, there would be a horse in front of these, and you can see the carriage part of it on the back of the vehicles at that time. And he brought the price down for the average person, so you can see that you could buy a Ford touring car for $530, and that was a lot of money back then. We also learn in the history of engineering how we learn from our mistakes, and in our video series there's a wonderful wealth of information, and one of those would be that the San Francisco Bay Bridge and the Tacoma's Narrow Bridge were both designed and built by this same engineer and with the same technology, and the San Francisco Bay Bridge is still standing, and the Tacoma's Narrow Bridge beat itself to death, and you'll find out the principles behind that about a little climate change. And it was also one of those things that they wanted to save money. Now, whenever anybody wants to save money, then that's always a bad thing. It seems like in engineering something bad happens. Our tool to express our ideas and our designs is SolidWorks. And again, SolidWorks is has the most market share, most jobs available for it. But it was founded in 1993 in Concord, Mass. And these engineers got together to develop a CAD package that would be easy to use, a 3D CAD package. And they developed this wonderful package called SolidWorks. And SolidWorks now is used by engineers all over the world. And it's based on parametrics or parameters. And in our first lesson, you actually learn about what parametrics means. Then you could go on, if using our instructor resources, to our YouTube videos, and you could actually show the first lesson for the software called, so usually you'd have a lecture time and then a lab time where students could work. And SolidWorks, this is an introduction to it where they make their first part, and it's fairly easy. It's easy to go through. And I think if you break things down to the most simple component, it's useful for everybody, and they have a positive experience through it. This is from our instructor portal. We have a series for SolidWorks that lead up to the SolidWorks certification, so that students actually gain in skill with each one of these tutorials. The one on the YouTube is this one, SolidWorks Introduction Tutorial. Then I always say that because this has worked all over the United States, with 2 instructor-led lessons, you can let your students go on the bottom on all of the exercises, and believe it or not, they can do them. So I usually do an instructor-led with this, and instructor-led with this axis, and then maybe one of the practice tasks, because every one of these has practice tasks, and they don't tell you, on a step-by-step format how to do those. You have to figure out, plan your work your plan, and figure those out. And this allows, if you let the students go and say, okay, you just go on at your own speed, that way you don't bore the really smart kids that can plow through here, and you can then have time to sit and help the ones that might be a little bit slower, so everybody can learn about engineering and SolidWorks as a tool for engineering and expressing our drawings. This is the ADDA website. They've been around since 1948. I call them the keeper of the standards. And they basically have tests for all kinds of different applications. And the mechanical application would be the one we would be using for the engineering part. And as a culmination, a lot of places are after industry certification, but we also align with other, with state and local standards as well. But we ship with review guides, so you can go over the review guides before you as an instructor, if you want to take an instructor test, or the students take the apprentice test. And there is a fee for them, but as a school district you can bring down the cost for that. And again, it's a separate organization from us, although we do use their curriculum, and it's also online, which makes it easy, and anybody in authority can proctor a student test. And what we would have then, what we have from our program is we have students that graduate and can get a job. I just got a call the other day from a young student who had graduated from Broward County, Florida, where we have introduced the CAD Academy. They've had it for several years. And he is now an instructor at a school called Key College. And the first thing he wanted is he wanted to bring the CAD Academy with him, because he knows it and he uses it and he thinks it's great, and he's an ADDA member as well. So it worked out well for him, and he's just one of many. This is a course outline of what we go over, very, very brief, in the engineering department, or in the engineering class. And it's very, very, very comprehensive. There's 27 lessons included in this, or chapters. From each chapter or lesson, you can produce a test quickly through a test wizard, or add your own questions in there if you would like. If you're an experienced, we're getting more and more architects and engineers coming back into the schools now, and so we have people knowledgeable in that profession teaching now, and they could probably not even ignore the book and just teach from their own practical knowledge. But that's basically how it works. So the CAD Academy's mission has always been to empower instructors to make a difference by giving them the right tools to do the job. It's not easy being a technology instructor, again, because things change so rapidly, yet some things are always the same. And I know that they've been teaching English and a lot of other things too right now, but there are so many great opportunities for students in the field of engineering, and obviously we don't have enough students going into the field of engineering. So we want to be able to guide students to make them excited about going into different career paths. I was excited to help an architect by recruiting students for his program, and he went to a architectural firm to show them show the students what they did, and 1/3 of his class wants to be architects. So I think the movement is going the other direction now, and again, the CAD Academy wants to be part of that, and we want to make sure that we are changing, we are actually giving students, not only helping them learn, but give them a job skill. Thanks for listening. If you have questions, please contact me, Stephanie, at thecadstore.com. This is sold exclusively through the SolidWorks Educational Dealer channel. Thanks for listening.